Good morning. Morning, isn't it? Yeah. Wow. Nearing 1:45 a.m. I'm Cam Cox. I founded the Kellum House, and I'm involved in several other transitional properties here in town. We provide housing for people who are going through transitions in their life. And if you've been following us, we've been talking to one of our residents, Eric W., every night, who has been using Suboxone to get off of heroin and fentanyl. And man, that guy was doing a ton of drugs. Now, the elephant in the room, where is Eric? And the answer to that question is I don't know. I went out to dinner tonight, had a wonderful dinner with family and great time. And we, in fact, my cousin Kathleen was there, and we talked to who is a nurse that used to work for an addiction doctor. We talked about Suboxone. She's been following Eric, talking about how great he's doing. And so I come home, and Eric is asleep. He's been sleeping a lot. Usually we don't sleep during the day, and also I don't know so much at night. He's been staying up a lot. And I just kind of made the assumption that that was related to his transition, and I'm sure it is. I mean, I've come off of opiates. It's a very traumatic physical transition that your body makes when you're breaking the addiction to anything, but opiates are particularly difficult. I don't know that Eric has relapsed, but I came home and said, let's do our little update here. I could tell he wasn't in the best of moods. He was real short with me. And the conversation quickly escalated into him exploding in anger and calling me names and no interest in doing it and storming out of the house. And I don't know where he is. So this is where my job, there's good and bad. But this part I don't like, but there's a protocol I follow when something like that happens, and that is I get in the van and I drive around some of the spots that I have found people at before, that I know of, that I have any idea. Our neighborhood is pretty scarce this time. Not a lot of cars out, so I can ask the police along 23rd if they've seen anyone walking on foot, and stop by the I'm trying trap houses. I couldn't think of that name. It's a common nomenclature for a drug house. They stop by I stopped by a couple of known trap houses in the neighborhood, and I didn't see him anywhere. And there's a possibility. There's a good possibility. I mean, I like to hold out hope in people. There's a good possibility that he just got pissed off at me and went storming out of the house and had to go walk it off. And he has done that before. Not at me, I don't think, but I've seen him do that when he's had confrontation here at the house. So hopefully he just is out walking it off. But there comes a point, usually before this time of the morning, that I lay it down and I pray a lot and I see what the morning brings. I had a probation officer, best probation officer I've ever had in my life, Carrie Springstead. I mean, you talk about a genuine, kind, caring professional who you just know is out to make the world a better place. She works with people transitioning from prison and back into society, and she helps them. I mean, class act. The Oklahoma Western District Probation Office is lucky to have this lady because she is super. And she was helpful in advice. I was still on probation when I opened the Kellum House, and she was helpful anytime I'd ask her for her opinion on anything. And one thing she told me, and I think it was probably pretty good advice, she really didn't tell me. I mean, and that was something about Carrie. She left it up to you, but she said, "Are you sure you want to be that close to everything? And you might need a little separation." And I got this. And I don't stay here every night, but I stay here at least 3 or 4 nights a week, and I am very close to everyone here. And when one of my kids, one of my guys is out, I'm emotionally attached to that, because you don't know. My sister April posted the sweetest post on Facebook this week that she talked about when I was out using it, and the fear of the unknown. And that is so true. That's the definition of fear, the unknown. But being in this position gives me a little better firsthand perspective of what I put my family through. I mean, Eric, for example, I met him less than 2 weeks ago, and I'm got a heavy heart tonight, wondering where he is. Can you imagine if your kids are out there running the streets, or kids if you're out there running the streets? Can you imagine how your parents feel? So it gives me a first-hand perspective, but Carrie was right. Sometimes it's a little too close to the action, so to speak. But it is what it is. I do what I do to keep people from doing drugs. And tonight's not the most optimistic story with Eric, although, again, you hold out hope. It doesn't mean he's relapsed. And if he has relapsed, it doesn't mean he's relapsed on opiates. He had one other relapse, and it was on meth. One-time use, I'm convinced. I tested him every day after that. He didn't come up hot again. Well, he was hot for 2 days. They say for 3 days on meth, but he was hot for 2 days and hadn't been an issue again. But no matter if he is relapsed, no matter what he's relapsed on, relapse is a part of recovery. I've had people be critical of me because I show people too much grace. I give them too many chances. I think that's something you make on an individual basis. You make a call you make on an individual basis. And sometimes one time is too many for people, and sometimes 3 or 4 times. So please pray for Eric tonight. Trust that maybe he's probably just fine, or very well could be just fine. I did want to mention one more thing about, I told you I had dinner with my family. Kathleen, the nurse I referred to, is from Kansas City, and she used to work for an addiction doctor. And correct me if I'm wrong, Kathleen, but she said this particular addiction doctor said that he would take every patient he had on drugs, put them on Suboxone, and swap out the street crap that they're doing out there. For the reasons that we've talked about. Regulated dose. You know exactly what you're getting. You should see some of the stuff that we get when we shake down rooms. And I guess they're drugs, but it's like, oh my God, you people don't know what you're getting, and you're putting this into your system. It's Suboxone, at least you know what you're getting. You know how many milligrams. It's not a perfect solution, but a perfect solution doesn't exist. After I left dinner, I had talked on the phone all the way home and then some to a doctor who is very frustrated with writing Suboxone because of the federal regulations associated with it, and who they let do it, and the money that's involved, and the billing of the insurance that's required to. But if you're somebody trying to get off drugs, you don't give a damn what the billing code is for your thing. You just want to get away from the chain that's holding you. So my point in all this is that there are so many aspects. When I started this as a diary of Eric's progress, am I going to run out of stuff to talk about? It's one guy at the Suboxone. How you doing today? How you do? Well, yeah, I mean, that progress is maybe a little narrow focused, but there are so many avenues of destruction with this opiate crisis. And hopefully we'll be able to provide you with some information. I'm going to find out exactly who the clinics are that are writing it, or who the community provider agencies are that are writing it, if they have lists, what's available, what their success stories are, and just try and update you on anything I can find out that would help address people who are dealing or have loved ones that are dealing with addiction to opiates. Folks, I'm tired. It's going to be 2 o'clock before you know it. Another 15, 20 minutes, and it was a long church day. The good news is Monday is my day off. But I will stop by tomorrow afternoon or evening and hopefully be sitting here with Eric next time you see us. Hope you had a good weekend.